Today on Fashion Guide, Kazakhstan, Paris, Milan, Monaco. Ainur Turisbek hits the fashion capitals with her new collection and solo show. Sales by European fashion retailers have gone up. American designer Diane von Furstenberg is on the list of the most influential people on the planet. Karl Lagerfeld presents a cartoon collection, and Ukrainian designer Liliya Litovskaya presents her unique fashion film. Fashion Week always brings something new. And of course, there are new names in the fashion scene. But sometimes, something happens that is unique and unprecedented. During the Autumn-Winter 2015-2016 Kazakhstan Fashion Week, for the first time, the runway hosted individual solo shows. The star of the event was designer Ainur Turisbek. She has been working with the French agency Image PR for 2 years now. This agency actively promotes Ainur's brand abroad. This collection has already been presented in Paris, so the show in Almaty was of the same high caliber. We try to keep moving forward with each collection. This time we attempted to make solo shows with 68 looks. The main theme of the collection was discipline, so we dedicated this collection to bikers. Gravity, Air Force, the military. I mean everything where discipline is required. If you noticed, our models were marching on the runway. To compare, an ordinary Fashion Week show consists of 20 to 30 looks. This show can definitely be called the climax of the Kazakhstan Fashion Week. Ainur Turisbek's collection is dynamic, sport chic, and inspired by boxing, motocross, and military themes. There are leather pants, jackets, loose shorts, dresses with hoods that look like boxing robes. The true highlight of the collection were the silver accessories. This collection gained a lot of popularity in Paris, and many journalists paid attention to it. That's why the whole collection was on the runway. That's how it's done in the fashion capitals of the world: Milan, Paris, London, New York, Moscow. The major fabric in Ainur Turisbek's collection is still leather. She is continually experimenting with texture. The leather work becomes more and more beautiful in every collection. This is motorcycle leather. It's been specially refined, so it maintains its shape and color even with snow or rain. It won't warp. The story of this solo show is to be continued. Ainur Turisbek is cooperating with the French PR agency and presenting it in a showroom in Paris. To promote the brand, the designer's crew even developed a fashion campaign. This is not just a lookbook. It's more like a conceptual photo session. Every magazine in Paris, Europe, and the US is requesting mood pictures from designers. That's why a campaign is so important. A lookbook is more tailored to buyers. A campaign is made for people who will actually look at the clothes and look for something special in the collection. That's why this photo shoot could give us an opportunity to be featured in the pages of Elle or Vogue.
Эта съемка, возможно, поможет нам, как это уже было, оказаться на страницах Elle, французского, итальянского Vogue.
Daniel Sarsiv was the photographer for Ainur's first campaign, and the famous Kazakh designer Rafael Roman came up with the idea. I see the heroine of the new season as a luxurious rebel, and she's not perfect. Her beauty is in her flaws. It's kind of rock chic.
Не идеальная, то есть, как говорится, идеал в том, чтобы быть несовершенным. Ну, то есть она такая, рок-шик.
The images for the photo shoot were not only for women, they were also unisex pieces with androgynous models. Speaking of models, Cara Delevingne appeared on the pages of a European magazine wearing shoes from Ainur's collection. She's, of course, delighted, and she's sure that this is just the beginning. A little while ago, she presented her collection at a fashion competition in Milan, and right now she's getting ready for a show in Monaco. Every designer will tell you that success is not just when there's inspiration in the collection, but also when the sales are high. Economists have leaked some good news. The sales of two of the world's most famous fashion brands have shot up. Burberry's profit has grown by 9%, with a net worth of $2.1 billion. At the same time, the basic retail income increased by 13%. The main source of that income are, of course, the famous trenches and neck wraps. Their sales are stronger in Europe and the US, which allows them to make up for the small income in the Asian market.
They paint a picture of a European consumer that is coming back from the dead, basically, and also a reasonably buoyant position in the US. And of course, a strong dollar is certainly helping Burberry's earnings, which are booked into sterling.
H&M is the second biggest fashion retailer in the world, with escalating revenues. This spring, the sales increased by 10%, while analysts were expecting this number to only be 2.5% or lower. The question everyone's asking is, how stable is this market?
There was a significant scale back in the growth forecast for the US, as I anticipated. A bit of an upgrade for the European Union, but from a low base. So, you know, if anybody can hand on their heart say, look, I think that the global economy and the consumer is going to be in good shape in 3 to 5 years' time, I would say, well, you know, have you got a crystal ball?
Many retailers are expecting to increase net profits. H&M is planning to open 400 new shops this year, mostly in China and the USA. And Burberry also opened 7 new boutiques in the US and in Japan. The most charming, attractive, and powerful woman in fashion, Diane von Furstenberg. The American designer was awarded this title by Time magazine. The publication usually publishes a list of the 100 most influential people. This year's list includes 40 women. Last year, there were 41. Diane von Furstenberg was nominated under the Icons category for the legendary scented dress, which has held a place in the wardrobe of many women since 1974. Diane says that the most influential person in her life was her mother.
My mother. And, but I think it's important that, my role is really to empower women, and I do it through fashion, and I also do it through philanthropy, and I want to know that every woman can be the woman they want to be.
The Icons category also includes Taylor Swift, Bjork, Pope Francis, and activist Malala Yousafzai. It is her third consecutive year being the youngest participant on the list. Karl Lagerfeld has moved from words to action and presented his last lookbook and video collection in collaboration with French artist Tiffany Cooper. Lagerfeld announced this collaboration with the talented French woman in February. The joint work with the great interpreter and artist includes t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshorts, slip-ons, and bags, phone cases, and other accessories. Tiffany created a special collection of colorful cartoons, the main characters being Lagerfeld himself and his beloved pet Choupette. An extraordinary fashion film was presented by Ukrainian designer Liliya Litovskaya and documentary photographer Sergei Morgunov. The film was played during the brand's last show. They departed from the usual format of reportage photography and instead recounted an alarming story about beauty. Models were filmed using an old VHS camera. The footage does not portray the girl as a heroine, but rather as a mysterious ghostly creature. A bare brick wall enhances the feeling of anxiety and tension that are inherent in the fashion industry in this challenging time. Men and women are both in the new Prada collection, an advertising campaign. The designer continues to integrate models of both sexes in the shows and photo shoots, creating mixed collections. In doing so, Miuccia Prada is trying to draw attention to issues of gender in the fashion world. Solving the riddle of men's and women's fashion, the designer unveiled an advertising campaign, Prada Pre-Fall 2015. The star of the campaign was the model and Miuccia Prada's new muse, Aya Jones. It also featured Natalie Westling and Julia Nobis. And that's all for today. Stay tuned for the next fashion guide on the Kazakh TV channel. See you next week.